if you're here, it's because you want to get your OnlyFans agency off the ground quickly and recruit your first model. In this module, we'll take a look at how to recruit a quality model with lots of potential in less than a week. Now, before we get started, you need to know one thing. You're not here to recruit a girlfriend. You're here to recruit a long-term collaborator who's going to help you scale your business and make a lot of money. So, you also need to see psychologically if the prospect is going to be interesting for you. And of course, looks are super important too, but also try to see things from a psychological point of view to avoid recruiting an empty shell. So the first step is to create a website. So why create a website? To have more authority, to have a much more professional image. When you approach a prospect with your fine phrases about how you're going to make him money, how you're going to manage his OnlyFans, etc., if behind that you don't have a showcase presenting your services, your company, etc., it's very complicated to have a certain authority and therefore to get the prospect to trust you. That's why a website is so powerful, because thanks to it, you'll be able to brand your agency with authority and professionalism. So here are some CMS you can use to create your website. Card, WordPress, Webflow, Wix. Webflow isn't very easy to get to grips with, but it's very good for websites. But otherwise, Card can do the trick just fine. So, a little tip for creating your site. Guys, buy templates, don't bother doing the structure yourself because you'll waste a lot of time. So, you buy a template from one of these CMS, which costs between $2 and $20, and then you drag and drop it directly onto your CMS, where you'll put your images, etc., and of course your texts. So obviously, in these websites, you have to put forward social proofs with screens showing the gains you're making or that you're supposedly making on Fansly and Onlyfans. Avoid overbidding, so avoid screens at 5 cases a month. No, frankly, avoid that. Try to have screens that are at least realistic, alright? So keep it simple when you're designing a website. Also, avoid anything weird like typos everywhere, different colors everywhere, etc. In short, keep things as professional as possible. In short, keep it professional. In the video description, you have my Telegram on which I'm going to put examples of sites that you can copy. Obviously, don't copy and paste, but that you can use as inspiration for your site. So you'll see a list of really good sites that you can copy. And of course, I'll also put some social proof on my Telegram for you to see, i.e. screenshots of results, etc. on OnlyFans and Fanslides. So all that's on my Telegram. I'll let you check in the video description. So in terms of contacts, I've seen quite a few videos on YouTube and even in training courses, trainers advising people to use Instagram, Tinder, and even some Facebook ads and Google ads. Be aware that these are the worst techniques you could use, especially when you're just starting out and don't necessarily have a huge lifestyle. Instagram is great if you live in Dubai or if you have beautiful photos, etc., a beautiful lifestyle, all that and more. But when you're starting from nothing and just have an agent image, it's very complicated to approach prospects. Even if you have a good image, lifestyle and all, it's still very complex. So really, Instagram, put it aside, it's useless. I've seen some people advising people to use Tinder, and that's a bit strange because first of all, you have to have an attractive Tinder profile, then you have to date a chick, then potentially you have to get on well with her. Once you get on well with her, you have to sleep with her and then propose to her, but it's a month-long process to recruit a model. So Tinder, put it aside, it's useless. Facebook ads, Google ads, so frankly, if you don't want your money, why not? But the cost per click on Facebook ads is enormous, and the same goes for Google ads. So it's up to you. But personally, I'd put this method aside too, especially if you don't have much capital to start with. So now I'm going to introduce you to my tried and tested method, which really works. Escort websites. So why escort websites? Well, they're already sex workers. So these girls don't necessarily feel uncomfortable sharing nude photos on the internet, unlike the influencers and micro-influencers you'll find on Instagram. These are girls who already have a foothold in this type of business. So obviously, when you arrive on an escort girl website, you're going to have to start by trying to sort out your looks, i.e. have a fairly attractive physique, a pretty face, etc. Avoid all non-standard physiques like BBW, etc. And above all, there's one thing that never works on OnlyFans and Fansly, and that's small butts. Flat butts. That's the thing, guys. Don't even try. It's going to be super hard to market, super hard to close in chatting. So really, don't even try to recruit a chick with a flat butt. Of course, try to target independent profiles. That's a bit complicated on escort sites, but from time to time you get quite a few independent profiles that aren't pimped out. These girls are very interesting to approach because they're generally open-minded, unlike a pimp where you'll be talking to a wall. So try to target these profiles, and of course, from a geographical point of view, try to prospect girls who are close to your home for the simple reason that tomorrow it will be easier to approach them over a coffee or a drink if you want to meet them for real. But above all, for long-term management, it will be much simpler, much more efficient, and much faster. For example, for the dating app checks, if only to explain things, and so on. In short, when your model is close to you, it's much easier to manage. So when it comes to making contact, everything will be done by SMS. So please don't do the same copy-paste where you present your services, i.e., hi, I'm what's his name from what's his name agency. I'm contacting you because nananina. No, that's lame. The first thing you need to do is pretend to be a prospect who's interested in the escort services. So, for example, hi XXX, I saw your profile on nanana.com, are you available? Or, hi, what's his name? I saw your profile on nanana.com, you're gorgeous, are you available? In short, you pretend to be a potential customer. After that, you'll get an answer about the services they offer, a price list of what they propose to these customers. And then, generally, what you have to do is reply something like, okay, that works, thanks for the info, but do you have an OnlyFans or a Fans Live? And in fact, the good thing about this method is that right away, you're going to have a discussion that revolves around this theme. So you'll find it easier to offer your services later on in the message discussion. Of course, you don't have to close very quickly, do you? You don't have to close right away. You have to ask a lot of questions first, be friendly and try to chat via message. Don't underestimate this method at all. It works. Then you say to yourself, yeah, but wait, chat by message, but the chick doesn't have the time, she's a prostitute, she doesn't have that much to do. Well, believe it or not, message chats with prostitutes do work. That's how I recruited my models, and that's how some of the students I coach recruit theirs. So really, guys, try this method. So be very friendly during the message discussion to restore a climate of trust with the prospect. That's it. So obviously talk about this theme, but remain friendly, provide value, etc. Obviously, in the end, you offer your services when you feel the opportunity arises, when you feel there's a certain openness to offering that, and at the same time, you share your website to really assuage your authority and get the prospect to say, oh shit, yeah, right, it's a real agency, what? So now let's take a look at some of the objections you might have. When you ask them if they have an OnlyFans or a Fans Live and they say no, well, generally speaking, you're going to get 3 no's. The no, I don't have an OnlyFans or a Fans Live, and the no, I don't have an OnlyFans or a Fans Live, the no, I don't have time. So when she tells you that she doesn't have time to have an OnlyFans or a Fans Live, you can explain to her just how much time she'll save by being managed by an agency. So she won't have to worry about marketing, she won't have to worry about chatting, she won't have to worry about all that legislative stuff, etc. In short, that's what I'm talking about. In short, the agency takes care of that. She'll just have to deal with the content in question. She'll be 100% driven, so she won't even have to think about it. So you can play on that objection. As for the no, I don't know what it is objection, here you can roughly explain what OnlyFans is. It's a website where people subscribe to profiles of chicks to buy their photos and videos, and some girls who aren't as beautiful as the prospect in question manage to make huge figures on this kind of platform with automatic monthly income. Right away, this can arouse quite a bit of curiosity. And then you can branch off into an explanation of what you do as a manager and so on. And then you have the, no, I've already tried that, but it doesn't work. So what's cool about this one is that you're going to be able to add value by giving her marketing advice, by asking her questions, by saying, yeah, but wait, have you tried TikTok? Have you tried Instagram? Have you tried dating apps? Have you tried optimizing your profile that way, etc.? Anyway, there you can really have a discussion. You're going to bring value. You're going to sort of help him from a marketing point of view for his OnlyFans, and fans live profile. What's cool about this is that you'll have a lot of authority, and following this discussion, you'll be able to offer your services very easily. Then you have the objections of whether she has an OnlyFans or a fans live. Here, generally speaking, you'll find two answers. Then there's the yes, but she's not making any money on it. Then tell her what a shame it is because she has so much potential and you can add value. So by asking her, okay, so if you're not earning anything on it, maybe it's because you don't have enough traffic. So have you tried TikTok? Have you tried Instagram? Have you optimized your chatting so that the few subscribers you have, you're going to manage to get the maximum amount of money on it? That's it. Really have a discussion. You advise it. You bring it value for free to really assert your authority. And as a result, have an easier time closing it. Yes, but she already earns quite a bit. Now that's curious. Ask her if she's managed. So if she is, you can ask her questions like, yeah, how are things with your manager? Is everything going well? And so on. If things aren't going so well, you can come in like a shark and offer her your services. Or if you see that she's already earning quite a bit, but she's on her own and isn't being managed, you can present her with the advantages of being managed, i.e. time savings, more chatting to do on her own, much sharper marketing advice, etc. Obviously, all this is based on a discussion with her manager. All this, of course, over a friendly chat. So now it's time to find out a little about the pain levers you can point to during these SMS exchanges. First of all, you need to know a little about the life of an escort, how things work, and so on. An escort girl earns a very good living. Some escorts earn $2,000 or $30,000 a month. But what happens is that these are very unstable sources of income. It's important to know that sometimes there are escorts who don't make any money for 2 weeks, and then it's a bit of a panic. It's very stressful for an escort, life in general, from a financial point of view because it's never stable. Unlike OnlyFans or Fansly, where thanks to the marketing generated by an agency, income is going to be stable. As long as the agency works properly, revenues are stable. You can count on that. Then there are the prospects. For a prostitute, it's very complicated, for example, to start a family because it's a profession that doesn't have much to do with modesty, etc. So it's rather complicated socially to have children and a husband. OnlyFans, Fansly can be a bit of a way out of this, where socially speaking, she won't have to be directly confronted with customers and keep her modesty a little IRL in any case. So obviously, it'll still be a very fulfilling job, but there won't be that direct contact with the customer. So she'll have more prospects, for example, for starting a family. It'll be a lot easier with OnlyFans, Fansly than with a job like prostitution. So those are the 3 levers of suffering that you can have around the discussion with her. Obviously, the aim isn't to confront her with her suffering levers head on during a discussion, but to make her understand for herself that these levers exist. So, for example, for the unstable source of income, you could say that one of your models is currently managing to generate more than $5,000 a month automatically, and that as a result, she's much less stressed than before, because before it was very unstable in relation to her profession as a prostitute. As you can see, this allows for indirect storytelling. Then you have to get the call immediately. So why get the call immediately? Quite simply, so as not to give the prospect time to think, because we're in a very sulfurous sector, where the prospect is going to send nude photos to a guy, an agency, etc. So if the chick is thinking about it, she's going to send it to the agency. So if the chick thinks about it for 24, 48 hours, she's going to say to herself, wait a minute, I'm going to send nude photos of myself to people I don't know, people I've never seen? Wait, that's too weird. No, it's not. I don't want to call them. It's too weird. There you go. Now, humanly speaking, you're not going to do that, but it can give him time to think about ultra negative things. That's why it's so important to get the call through right away so that she can hear your voice straight away and so that she can trust you more than if you just sent her a message. You can start the call when you've managed to get her on the phone with a very casual, friendly chat so that she's less on her guard and less stressed. This is a marketing technique used in advertising, where you are presented with something that has nothing to do with the product at the start of the ad. The aim is to take your mind off the product. When you're presented with the product and you've been properly extended with something that has nothing to do with it beforehand, right away, the product is much easier to sell, and so on. It's much the same with the call. Start with a nice casual chat to create a bond with your prospect, and then you can present your services and benefits more easily afterwards, because she'll trust you. Obviously, during this call, you'll need to go over the model's obligations, i.e., the content she'll have to do, the porn content she's willing to do, and the content she's not willing to do, obviously by asking her questions, but also the videos she'll have to do on TikTok, the amount of content she'll have to do, and so on. Following this call, you immediately propose signing the contract to avoid wasting time, and you tell her that the sooner she signs, the sooner you'll get started, the sooner you'll generate money, because the aim, once again, is for her not to think. If she thinks too long, it's very complicated afterwards for the closer. So why is signing the contract so important? I see a lot of agencies that don't have a contract with their model. Why shouldn't they? But it's true that from the point of view of professionalism and your agency's image, it's much better to have a contract with the model. The model will immediately say to himself, holy shit, these are real pros, this is a real agency, this is a real structure, etc. So already, from an image point of view, it's an added value, but also to protect you legally. There are very few problems that generally arise in WF, and there aren't too many legal issues that come up. Well, they very rarely do, but you never know. Anything can happen, so that's why it's very important to protect yourself legally, and the model also protects itself thanks to a clause, thanks to various clauses in the contract, so you protect yourself legally, but also reassure the model. When the model signs the contract, she says to herself, fuck, okay, great, now there's a contract, it's good, it's perfect, it's on paper, I can get on with my work, I've got a clear idea, etc. A contract reassures everyone. A contract is always reassuring when you're working together. For example, when you're a salaried employee or whatever, and you're going to work for a company, if there's no contract, you're there in, wait, at any moment, the guy, he cuts and then I get mode. But if there's a contract, you're much more reassured right away. The same goes for the model. So obviously, to find a contract, I've put an example of a contract in English in my Telegram group that you can use. All you have to do is join the Telegram in the description of this video, and you'll have the contract for your agency. That's it for this module. So, if you follow it to the letter, you should be able to get a model in less than a week, free of charge, and above all, in a way that's quite qualitative, given that it'll be close to where you live. So, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.